I now give the floor to Ms. Cheryl Perera, founder of OneChild, who will speak as a representative of the migrant community. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, honored guests, I'd like to begin by thanking all of you for inviting me to the opening of this conference, to this important historic conference. It is an absolute honor to be able to lend my voice to the millions of children and young people whose lives are touched by migration. We live in a world that's home to 1.8 billion young people. And although we come from all around the world and have different life stories, the one thing that we have in common is our hope to lead happy and prosperous lives. And so, we cross roads and borders, oceans and deserts, in pursuit of higher education, professional development, better and decent work, or marriage. Sadly, we also migrate because of disasters, political instability, violence, and poverty. Now, there's no doubt that migration can be safe and a positive experience for all. But what about the 30 million children who are forced to leave their homes because of violence or conflict? The 3 million that are stateless? What about the 1 million who are detained because of their migration status? What about the children who make up a third of trafficking victims? When I was 16, I was researching for a high school project in Toronto, Canada. And I took out a book. And as I was flipping through this book, my eyes fixated on a description of child sex trafficking. I learned that young girls from the rural areas, marginalized girls, are sold by their parents out of poverty or lured under the false promises of getting a job in the city, in restaurants or hotels. But before they know it, they find themselves dancing on brightly lit stages. The girls wearing bikinis, the boys wearing thongs with a number pinned to each, and a man will order a child like one would order a drink. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I compared my life to the lives of these children, and I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that children my age and younger were being exploited in such an organized fashion. I wanted to kick, I wanted to scream, but I also knew that I had to do something. So to truly understand, I wanted to actually meet the children. I wanted to hear their stories of exploitation and abuse. And I wanted to ask them, what can I do as a young person to help you? And so what I did was I decided to take 3.5 months off of high school and travel to my parents' home country of Sri Lanka to investigate child exploitation there. I wanted to get an insider's look into the child sex trade. So I partnered with the National Child Protection Authority of Sri Lanka and their joint police force and played the main role of the decoy in an undercover sting operation. What the police were doing was they were tracking a man who had been posting on a child pornography site that he was interested in young girls. My job was to play the role of a 15-year-old trafficked child and Global Compact and the GFMD. 2, invest in us. We need the support to participate, to win young migrants the support that they need. And 3, count us in. We need to be part of the data collection process, to know the numbers of youth impacted and to make this information clear in future reports on international migration. The UN Major Group for Children and Youth is made up of 6,500 organizations. We're on the ground, but we also are connected to the international level. We're the face of change, and we're ready to work with you. We just need you to give us a seat at the table, invest in us, and take us seriously. As young people, we are committed to leading the process with you as partners, because it's efficient and simply because it's the smart thing to do. We've already planted the seed. We need water. We need you to give us the water, and we'll give you a garden. We can do better. We must do better together. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative from the migrant community for her statement.